Hey, it's Jack. I want to talk about this I built. This is an IR box that has both a camera, a video transmitter, infrared illuminator, infrared strobe on it, as well as a built-in screen. This is super useful for playing with night vision type of stuff. I'm able to use it as a video transmitter. So using like a standard FPV equipment, I'm able to see the video feed from this, potentially upwards of 1,000+ yards away. So I'm also able to use this as a remote target camera, which is useful, especially remote target camera under night vision. So I'm able to use this to help zero IR lasers at range, which is useful. But the other big thing is just being able to see and use it as an illuminator for at night. You can also use it as like a remote, like kind of like a live trail camera type of thing. So I'll get a little bit closer and show you guys how I built this. So I have it integrated into this Tupperware container, which works pretty well. It's not truly waterproof, but it's mostly water resistant. I have this lid to put on the back. I have a hole so I'm able to route the antenna around it. At the heart of this is the camera. The camera is a RunCam Night Eagle 2 Pro, which is a pretty good analog security camera. It's about the best that I know of that you can easily get without spending a stupid amount of money. Below that, I have some off-the-shelf IR illuminators for security cameras. On top, I have a Phoenix Junior IR strobe that's made to have a 9-volt battery attached to it that I am running my 3S LiPo through for about 12 volts, which it's not truly made for, but it hasn't been a problem yet, and if anything, it's slightly brighter than it was, so that worked pretty well on top. So I do have the IR strobe up here, the IR illuminator, the camera. On the back here, I have the screen that's built in. I also have just one of these standard LiPo battery check meters that I can put on my battery. I've taped over it, so if I am doing stuff with night vision, it's not an extra source of light. So the way this is all wired up is I have these 4 switches over here that I'm able to turn on. The first one turns on the screen, which I most of the time would leave off if I'm using it, but there you can see the live view of the screen. Below that, the second switch turns on and off the transmitter. So here, if we see on my FPV goggles, if I'm going to flip that second switch, now it turns on. So that's what drives the transmitter, which is, I believe it's a 600 milliwatt. It's at least a 200 milliwatt transmitter. I forget exactly what I use. It's just one of the ones I had from all my drone stuff. Below that is the one to turn on the IR illuminator on front. So that turns on these, which light up pretty well. I'll show those in just a minute. And below that, the last one turns on and off the strobe light. So that's the Phoenix Junior on top. And I'll try to get some video of that here in a second. So that's the bulk of it, really. I have it wired up to having a DC power jack on the bottom here that I then just have spliced off to an XD60. I'm just running off a 3S LiPo because I have a bunch of these. This is the heart of it, and I'll get some video here showing it working. Okay, so this is video looking through the FPV goggles. I have turned off the lights to make this work a little bit better. Maybe easier to see. So here I have a MS-2000. These are pretty standard military supply. So this is the strobe. This is IR. You cannot see this to the naked eye. This is show. I can take off this front shroud, and there's the viz. So this is visible light right now, but if I'm able to cover this up, now it's IR only. So only like the security camera and like standard night vision tubes are able to see this. I also have a illuminator here. So this is a 10-watt security camera illuminator hooked up to an inverter, hooked up to my lab power supply. So I can't see this right now. This is completely dark to my eyes. I'm assuming you can see this right now. So there's a pretty bright illuminator here I'm able to use. So I could use this hooked up to another battery or spliced to that battery in conjunction with this if I needed more illumination, or just leave it how I have it. The other thing I have to say about this is I did write on the side of it the power draw under the 2 main modes I'll use it in, just so I know, so that way when I'm using batteries, it's easy to know about how long, at whatever battery life I have, to know how long it will last. So just the transmitter on, it pulls about 0.32 amps on 12 volts, so I'm using like a 2200 milliamp hour 3S battery that'll run for 6 hours or so. And then when I have everything on except the screen, because the use case of this doesn't really use it with the screen, so I'm not concerned about that. When I have the IR illuminator, the camera, the transmitter, and the IR strobe on, that kicks my power up to about 0.93 amps at 12 volts. So using that, I'm able to use that same 2.2 amp hour 3S, and it will run for a little over 2 hours. So it's worked pretty well for its intended role. It's a little hard to get videos showing like the illuminator on this and the strobe running, but it does work, which is super useful for all kinds of stuff. So if I was using it as like a target camera, I'm able to see the strobe if I'm under night vision. One last thing I wanted to say is I do want to make more YouTube videos here in 2022, and I will try to be more active on this channel. I know it's ebbed and flowed over several years. I used to upload significantly more. It's been kind of dead for a while, but I do want to put more effort into this, so there will be more videos coming. So if you find this interesting, you want to see more stuff like this, feel free to subscribe. I'll make more stuff. I'm not going to hyper focus on this. There'll be some stuff like this. There'll also be some stuff with like the drones will come back. Some. I also want to do more outdoor stuff. I have a lot of videos like that where I'll be going out in the woods. I'll make some videos along, whether I'm hiking or exploring out in the wilderness, as well as also just there'll be other content mixed in. Whatever I'm currently interested in at the time and whatever I have to say something about is when I'll turn on the camera and I'll share it on my YouTube channel. So if you're interested, feel free to stick around. I'll try to put more effort into this.